What is going on there, people? Hope everyone's having a great Wednesday. Welcome back to yet another show, another week of Redcat Live. That's right, it's that one show where we just kind of talk about anything Redcat RC related, and sometimes I leak things, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I got cool stuff to talk about, and sometimes I just make it and wing it as we go. But nonetheless, you're here, I'm here. Let's have a good time, right? Today we got a little bit of a different episode, and I keep saying that quite a bit. I feel like a broken record, but that's my goal, is to be a broken record in that sense. Bring you different avenues, different things going on, and different things to do. You know, there's a lot of people that are joining the hobby, especially when it comes to the month-long sale that we had. They gave a lot of people opportunities to become customers and become part of the scene, as well as for those folks that are part of the RC Lowrider scene, that the RC Lowrider was their entry level into the RC world. So a lot of questions are always asked, how do I do a convertible top? How do I do this? How do I do that? How do I wire up, all these extra servos, to convert your 64 into a 4 servo or per corner vehicle, in comparison to only having 3. So there's a lot of things that we can always do how-to videos. And I think one of the ones that most people struggle with is just the cutting part of it. The looking at a body and envisioning taking a sharp blade to it and or Lexan scissors, right? It could be absolutely painstakingly, crazy nervousome for those that do it, especially if you haven't had a lot of experience working with Lexan. Luckily, I have had a lot of experience working with Lexan. I've had a lot of experience damaging Lexan, overcutting, undercutting, destroying, paint failing. Listen, the reality is I am not an expert at Lexan. I failed probably just as many times as I've succeeded. But every time that I have done something that has not gone right, I've learned from it. And that's part of the process of learning as you go. But there's some hints and tips that we can always talk about that can make your life a little easier and hopefully avoid you from making the simplest mistakes. So today we're going to cover doing a couple of different things, and we're going to highlight the Monte Carlo body more specifically. Last year I did a video, and I do apologize because I actually went back and looked at the video. It was right when we first started Redcat Live, and the reality is that the video quality itself was not the best. We didn't have mirrorless DSLRs at that time at our disposal for the studio, and now we have multiples and even additionals, and we have more lighting and better lighting for you guys. So I do hope that this one will go a little bit better. Another thing that I noticed last time is that we spoke quite a bit about the process and the cutting and doing this and that, and then I got really quiet because as you're cutting, you're not really talking. So I would like to introduce you guys to my co-host today. That's right, I got a co-host. I kind of feel important now because that means that, stature-wise in the RC world, I feel like I'm kind of becoming somebody. And it's not because I have so many cool people like you guys that come every week and watch a show, but primarily because I have a co-host. I know you guys, you're important, trust me, but the co-host, I got a co-host. I got myself a co-host. I got myself a co-host. So, without further ado, let me welcome you guys, none other than Mr. Joe Lacey. Come on over here, Joe. So, Joe's in the house. Joe, we do not have you mic'd up. I do hope that folks can hear you through my lapel mic. I'm sure they will let us know if they can't hear you enough. But Jamie Rodriguez, what's going on? Tony Gutierrez, thank you so much for swinging on by. I hope you guys are enjoying your guys' Wednesday. Brendan Armstrong, it's always good to see you. Black Boys, California, Cali, SoCal's in the house. I love it. Patrick Lovato, what's going on, good sir? Man, I'm telling you, hey, Patrick actually had a green Monte that he shared with me out in New Mexico. Dual servo actuated trunk.
I was there. Yeah, I remember that.
You were there, right?
Yeah.
So,
Sweet.
it was a cool car. Patrick, man, good job on that, bro. I love what you've done with it. Thank you so much. Marcus Jennings, what's going on? So, guys, one of the main reasons I brought Joe in was to talk a little bit while I cut and hack, and hopefully not destroy or cut any of my sausage fingers off, because that would make for great television.
A little messy.
Yeah,
you don't want that.
I think the people that clean up the office won't be too happy. They're going to be like, what happened? Oh my gosh.
We'll put it on ice though.
I love it. Gio Marley, my Lolo has a first name. It's Oscar. Man, I hope I don't get trademarks for this. They're gonna be like, put it on YouTube, and they're gonna be like, he played music. We gotta take that down. No monetization. Sorry. But yeah, so nonetheless, guys, I know that for a lot of folks, veterans that are out there, this is nothing to you guys, but I'm gonna just kind of try to see if we can brainstorm or kickstart some folks that might need a little bit more knowledge in thereof, right? So that's why ideally I brought Joe in. Joe can actually talk thereof. I'll actually give him my mic
Maybe.
if I feel like it. Sometimes I just feel like kicking him.
I tend to steal the show. So.
I just want to tell you this, Joe. I do have a sharp object in my hand. Today will not be the day that you cap on me. Okay. Milo, how you doing, sir? John Liqua, what's going on, sir? Yeah, man, the black, that's my favorite, honestly. And I'm a big fan of white cars and black cars. They're my specific colors. I've had white vehicles and trucks for, gosh, as I can remember. And I swore I'd never get black, but ironically enough, black chose me this time around with my latest truck, and I just kind of fell back in love with it all over again. Jesse Macias is in the house. Jesse, got my fresh cut for you, bro. Thank you, man. I got to look fresh for you, bro. Hopefully you're feeling better, man. Mark says, I was a little apprehensive when I cut up the top of my purple 64, but glad I did it. Made a huge difference in the looks. And that's what I'm talking about, guys. Getting back to, the reason why we're here today is the cutting and modifying of a body is always troublesome. It's scary especially when you spent $459 on a RC car, right? But for a lot of folks that want to achieve a different look, this is gonna be the way it goes, right? You got to step out of your comfort zone. Take it. This body right here has been to about, 6 or 7 different shows. It's had miles and miles put on it. The body itself looks clean on camera, but it's scratched. It's had its days.
That's what's worried.
Yes, and this is not getting cut up though. Sorry. So we'll move this out of the way really quick. But let me kind of let you guys know a little bit about Joe Lacey. Joe Lacey is our resident badass. Works in sales and support. And can you kind of tell the folks a little bit about? Hold on. I gotta do this like I can't. Hold on. So, Joe Lacey, tell me a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your background when it comes to the RC world. I don't care. All right, back to what we're going about, guys. We're going to talk about this body. We're going to talk about cutting. Just kidding. Joe, tell them a little bit about the guys. Let them know a little bit about your background. Let them know a little bit about how you came to be here.
Well, so I got my first RC car in '98. It was a Traxxas Rustler. Anyway, but I've been racing competitively since 2001. Most of the guys that work here I've grown up with, so it was only fitting. During the pandemic, I lost my big boy job and I ended up here. So It's a good fit. I like it. Having a good time. I enjoy working with all these dudes here, and love helping out you guys whenever you guys call with questions. And I'm pretty knowledgeable, so there's hardly anything out there that really stumps me, but there's a few of you that have stumped me pretty good. But
I think that kind of goes hand in hand, right? There's always going to be challenges, and even for veterans like yourself, I don't even consider myself a veteran. I consider myself an OG, not a veteran.
Right.
I think to consider yourself a veteran, you have to have been in it through the 80s and 90s, and then some,
Like when we had the throttle stick and then the knob.
Right. Or, we used to have to put a string on your car and go in a circle.
Yep.
We're dating ourselves. Stop that. But the reality, right. But the reality is, guys, is that, Joe is kind of a big part, as well as the rest of the team that we have here, help answering your questions, help answering your guys' warranty claims that come in. And if you're a dealer, then you're also probably dealing with them on some level as well. So, we want to make sure we highlight. I found finally an opportunity to get Joe in here, kind of talk to him a little bit about what's going on. We'll put this right here in the middle for us. Can you hear me now? What do I do with my hands? Do I keep them up? Do I put them down? Okay. Anyways, so the reality is that, I want you guys to see the faces of what makes us who we are, the experience behind all of it, and all of the awesome people that make us who we are and motivate us to move forward. We're all RC junkies at heart. This guy's at the track as many times as he can be, you know, and he's not, when he's not on the track, he's out crawling.
Yep.
When he's not crawling, he's usually in bed.
Usually.
You know,
Usually.
I mean, I would too. I'd be out for the count. So, guys, back to what we're doing, guys, really quickly. Using light bulbs to discharge batteries.
Yeah.
Dang, yes.
I had a 12-bulb rack.
A 12-bulb rack?
12-bulb rack.
Oh, geez.
And it was attached to my car stand. So you come off the track, you plug it in, and then as soon as the batteries were out, then you knew that it was time to recharge the battery.
And the rest was history.
And the rest was history. Can't do that anymore with lipos now. You just blow them up and start a fire, which could also be useful depending on where you're racing.
Right. Let's see if I can get this to sit there. Can you hear me? Yeah. Looks like you guys can hear us pretty good. Let me know if we position the mic a little bit in the front so you guys can hear both of us. Hopefully that covers us. Let us know if you need me to turn up the gain or, you know, keep it where it's at. Let me see here really quick. Let me grab that mouse. AM radios. Jesus. Front bumper stripes were notorious for coming off on the full-size Monte Carlo back in the day and wouldn't get replaced when we fixed them up. I don't know, Paul, what you mean by that. Elaborate a little bit. Maybe I'm missing the other half of that if there was
I think
another
it's
half.
talking about
Real Montes, for
Yeah,
sure.
like Logi Bond, yeah.
I don't know.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
No, neither do I. All right, guys. So, Marshall Sanchez, how are you? Guys, as
Hello,
we're going through this, guys, you know, drop where you guys are watching from. We always love seeing that. We love the comments. We love seeing just where you guys are from. So, without further ado, I'm going to scoot over to the right, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we're going to do with this body. Right there. All right. So, Joe's going to kind of moderate as we go, answer some questions that might come up. And kind of
get your questions in now if you got them. So.
right, and yes, he likes tacos like myself. He enjoys them, so yeah, he's a taco fan. So
Carne asada tacos.
yeah, he didn't like the al pastor though.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. So we're looking at the Monte body, and one of the things we're going to start off by doing is not doing the full convertible cut. We're actually going to show you guys a couple of tricks to help get that T-top look and that Hollywood top look before we actually go ahead and start cutting. I love it, man. Black Boy's in the house, repping hard. Tony Gutierrez, Naval Base,
Northern Michigan.
Loma, Seaside. We got Bakersfield in the house. We got Michigan in the house. Louisiana. Ooh-wee. Get it, man. We got lots of folks out here.
Hey, Danny.
So, guys, so first and foremost, you know, when it comes to a body, and you're looking at the Monte body, one of the biggest things that a lot of people have done inside of the actual lowrider scene is to do a T-top modification and or the Hollywood top. I'm going to show you guys a quick trick that I like to use to get a nice straight line. And we're not actually going to cut the T-tops, but I'm going to show you a couple of tricks that help you with that. And one of them is actually going to be using some masking tape.
Why is in the house?
I seem to have lost my thinner one that I was going to use for the T-top, which is why we're not going to cut the T-top, but we are going to do the Hollywood top here today. So let me change.
What's a Hollywood top?
So a Hollywood top, for those of you guys that don't know, is a T-top would have a line going right down the middle. In fact, let me open this view here. Oh, you're cut off. All right, squeeze on in. Hi. How you doing, buddy?
Let's beard cuddle.
All right. So now you can't see his face. You're welcome. And he can still answer questions. So the reality, guys, is when you're talking about a T-top, first and foremost, you're pretty much.
I do not know, Danny, if we're going to be making it to Louisiana. But maybe. I'd like to go to New Orleans.
New Orleans? I'd love to go to New Orleans. Get
I've
some
always wanted to
gumbo.
go.
Ooh.
Never been.
Some crawdads.
Yeah.
So
Some crayfish.
a T-top would consist of us cutting 2 squares, one on each side, leaving a piece down the middle and the back half complete. Now, to create a Hollywood top, we would actually end up cutting the whole front and then right here, removing this section and only leaving the back half of the actual roof line. So for a lot of folks, they're like, all right, that's cool. cut a line, and then if it's not so straight, no big deal. I can go ahead and sand it straight. That's kind of a good gimmick to do with Lexan. I do it all the time using a nice block, with sandpaper on it, will help give you a nice straight line. But another trick that you can do to at least get the line started with masking tape is line up. Let me see if I can do it this way. There we go. You guys are going to want to line up. Let me rip a piece off. If you look at the actual lines, guys, there we go. Right here, when it comes to the chrome piece on the Monte Carlo, theoretically speaking, if the factory did the job right, they're going to be pretty dead center to each other, right? So what I do is you want to keep the chrome portion of it, because when you look at a Hollywood top on a Monte Carlo, a real car, the top is cut right ahead of the actual chrome itself. So the cutting would happen, oops, can you see it? Yeah. It would happen right here, not here, if that makes sense. So if you get a piece of masking tape, line it up with that chrome strip, and like always, guys, prep work is always a must. So the more time you spend prepping properly, the cleaner your lines are going to be. So you guys can notice I've already taped following that chrome strip. And I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to try and find that same chrome strip here, like so. So now, in essence, theoretically speaking, you have a nice straight line to get that scoring mark started, so that then you can cut.
Danny, I don't understand your question.
Can you tell me what Willie Bow would work on the Redcat shredder? Huh.
And then
Willie bar
Oh, Willie bar
on the shredder.
I don't think we have one for the shredder.
I don't believe so either.
And then Jesus had some input.
Let me see, where else? Okay. Where's Jesus?
He's down towards the bottom. Line up the tape on the trim going back, not forward. So go aft instead of forward. So I guess on this side.
No. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yep. He called it. Yeah, you're going to want to stay on the opposite side. Thank you, Jesus, for that. Sometimes when we're sitting here talking, we get a little carried away and we lose focus. So thank you for that. You guys, again, so what Jesus is saying, you're going to want to be on, no, scratch that. I was right. You want to be on this side of the chrome, because my cut line is going to be on the front side of the chrome, not the back side. I want to keep the chrome in play.
Yeah, because that would look weird.
Yeah. So
maybe he meant.
Yeah. So as you guys can see now,
what's going on, BT?
With the chrome strip is there. You guys can see it right here, because we're going to be cutting on this side of the chrome, just vaguely. So let me drop this down a little bit. All right, so while cutting here, we're going to cut on this side, right? Yeah, if Jesus, I get what you were saying. If we line it up on the opposite side, then we can have that straight edge as well. We're still creating a straight edge, except I'm going to be cutting on this side, not on this side. I get what you're saying. If we laid it on the opposite side, we cover the chrome. In fact, I want to switch it up again, because one thing that I like about Jesus is his name.
I get what he's saying, though.
I get what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely. You weren't wrong at all. You were right. We were just thinking in a different format. So now covering.
I think you meant cut on the back side of the tape, not the.
Right. So now if you think about it, Jesus made a good point, because now I'm protecting the chrome, right? I'm not going to cut the chrome itself, which is a great thing. So.
Right. There you go. Yeah, that's what he meant.
Right. So
I got you, bro.
See?
Translation.
Yeah, Jesus got it. He knows what's up, man. We're gonna have Jesus on the show next week. He's gonna fill us in on how to do the next thing. Um, so, guys, here we are. You guys can see the line. We're gonna start by taking your nice sharp blade. And listen, guys, you guys have a lot of options. You guys can use Lexan scissors, which work great, but you got to penetrate at some point. So, for a lot of folks, they can either use a drill bit, making a small incision or a small hole in the corner, where then you can start working your way through. This is great. It'll work awesome. But for those people that don't have a lot of experience with it and experience working with Lexan scissors,
We're cutting the windows out too. Tony,
what's up?
Tony wants to know if we're cutting the windows out too.
This one, I am going to cut the windows off as well. I gotta make sure my mob audio sound system sounds good and is blaring out loud enough. So starting with your X-Acto knife, the reason why I choose X-Acto knives, and it's a pain in the butt and it takes longer to do, but I feel like it gives you the most cleanest, crispiest cut, especially if you get it to that point where it weakens up and you can just snap the Lexan. So without further ado, guys, we're just gonna line up.
And a lot of the reason that is too, if anyone on here has ever worked with sheet metal, you always want to score the sheet metal because it will give you a much cleaner line instead of just cutting it with like an oscillating saw or a Dremel with a cutting wheel. There's a lot of cleanup after that. This is just one spell swoop, and you can actually just pull it apart and it'll just separate.
Right. So as you guys can see here, make sure the tape is down. I'm just grabbing the blade and I'm literally just sliding or gliding it right above the tape line. I'm not giving it a lot of force. I'm just giving it enough force to get a groove started so that as my passes become more prevalent, I can add more pressure because the blade is in the groove. What are you reading?
Whoever's running the Redcat page just said, hurry up and penetrate.
Redcat Live was never intended for children.
We have a lot of fun here. So, Jordan, we are doing a Hollywood top.
And then we'll progress over to doing a convertible.
Yes, and then we might, yeah. I said T-tops, but, you know.
So again, guys, just using the blade itself, if I were to remove the tape, you would start seeing a slight groove and indentation being created in the Lexan. And so what I like to do is, again, as I'm passing it more and more, I'm starting to add more and more pressure to the blade. Obviously, making sure the scoring is deeper as we go.
And it's better to start with a fresh blade. I don't know if you mentioned that.
Always
But
a fresh blade.
I'll reiterate that. Yeah, you don't want a dull blade. You'll be there for a long time.
All right.
What's up, Jeff?
Is that why I saw you trying to make some modifications on your right outside? Like a hacksaw? Like,
maybe.
All right, man. What kind of events are you guys got coming up, man? What are you guys looking forward to attending here soon or shortly?
Safety first.
Open the mouse, move this out of the way.
If you don't want to save. Yeah, you could do that too, Mark.
What is that?
So if you don't want to save the piece, you could just cut it off, just drag out the Dremel tool and just go for it.
You could, but again, this is.
Are you in yet?
Are you in yet? This guy. So guys, the reality is that yes, you can. There's a lot of ways you can cut. I don't like Dremels on Lexan personally. I don't mind using it to sand edges, so to speak. But I do and can appreciate a good set of Lexan scissors. The reason why, again, I'm using this method at this section, the rest of it I can use Lexan scissors and sand it straight. But to get this line, like I'm doing right now, as nice and straight as possible and crispy, scoring it so that then you can bend it and snap it is the best way to go. It's going to give you the cleanest line and a lot less cleanup afterwards.
Mm-hmm. You can just literally just go over it with like a 220 sandpaper and it'll smooth that out real nice too. And you can round your edges, and so they're not so sharp.
All right, here we go. Caesars. All right, guys. So now that the top is scored, I'm going to remove the tape and show you guys what I mean. All right. Now you guys see the score line. It's nice and deep, the way it should be. Deep. Good penetration with the blade. And now we can start working on the rest. Now, if I wanted to make a cut here in the corner, start using my Lexan scissors, I can do that. And then I'm probably going to do the exact same to the front, just to, again, make sure I have a nice straight line there as well.
Yoshi says to think about tacos when you're cutting. He's always thinking about tacos.
Tacos stay on my mind. So, getting your tape, finding the corner of the Monte body, where the roof line is, I'm just going to go ahead lay down the tape. Now, because this bad boy kind of sits at a slight angle, I'm going to add a little bit more right there. Just another spot right there to get protection. And then I can get my blade back out, scoring the sides.
Watch those rolled edges too. Those are tricky with the blade. You don't want to. We will be having to use our Princess Band-Aids.
I swapped those out for Scooby-Doo ones.
Scooby-Doo?
Where are you? All right. So as mentioned, guys, I'm scoring.
Gio says he uses WD-40 to lube the groove so that the blade slides easier. That's a pretty good idea.
Yeah, heck yeah. Good job, Gio. Gio, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Gio Marley.
Good job, Gio. Man, that's a good one, bro. Good call on that. And you're right. Once the blade starts to kind of get into the Lexan itself, you notice that the blade starts to kind of stick. And as you're dragging, you kind of like drag it. So, yeah, WD could work as well. So
3-in-1. Or whatever lubricant you have to get that penetration you need.
Jeez. Bunch of children. All right.
Shout out to the guy reading for Taco Man. Thank you.
All right. Score in the front is now made. Now let's go ahead and make a puncture.
Brian Alpha says, sup from Washington.
Are you going to be going to Pro Life by the Fire or no?
I asked.
You asked?
I would like to. I really want to go.
All right. So, guys, now what I went ahead and did, you guys can notice right here, I just made a small cut and incision. And again, you can start using your Lexan scissors. What's going on?
For good penetration, you need some lubrication for a smooth, deeper groove.
Who's that? Marcus?
That's Marcus.
Oh, Marcus.
Danny LaBeouf said that you could use Vaseline too.
See what you started, dude?
I didn't start it.
All right. So then we'll start using Lexan scissors here, guys, to speed up this process.
Straight Lexan scissors, mind you.
Yeah, guys, they do sell a variety of different Lexan scissors.
Not just curved.
All right. So I got the window
This is my
started.
favorite part. When you score it and then you just break it.
It is the fun part, isn't it?
It's so satisfying. We should just make a bunch of like TikTok videos of satisfying Lexan seam cuts.
Bro, I've been on TikTok for over 2 years now. I don't think anyone wants to watch anything that I'm in. I am not that interesting. Unless you want to talk to a guy that talks about tacos all day
And beard stuff.
and beard products.
I should have got a fresh cut.
All right, here we go.
Danny says to quit blushing.
Quit blushing. This guy. I mean, I can't take you guys anywhere. Jeez. All right. Perfect. All right, so we got the window just about done. I'm going to score the window. Now that I got the bottom section loose, I can score this section right here. I always tell everyone, leave a little bit of Lexan left because there's no replacement for displacement. All right. What you got?
Redcat Gone Wild, episode 1.
This one on repo, man.
Danny says he's trying to behave, but it's hard. All yellow.
Jeez. All right, there's your first half that we snapped off.
This is the best part. You guys should be watching this.
Don't tell them that. Now no one's going to watch. I'm like, oh yeah, bet. I'm gone.
You've already got this over my face. Oh, wow, everything's backwards. That's bad. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, I'm done with that.
So, Joe, tell me a little bit about the racing scene for you guys out here in Arizona. I heard it's quite popular, especially the 8-scale scene. Is that correct?
Oh yeah. So 8-scale seems to be the most popular. I mean, we've got more tracks for 8-scale. We have Hobby Action, which is an indoor track, but they don't do nitro indoor. They only do electric 8-scale indoor every once in a while, usually right when they're about to change the track. But we've got Adobe Mountain Speedway out here. We've got the Nitro Compound down in Maricopa, which is about an hour south of Phoenix. We've got Paddock Short Course, which is they're starting to come back, and that's the grassroots of it all pretty much. That's your loose, fluffy dirt. Who's getting a caddy? I don't know. Jeffrey released his bodies.
That's right. That's right. Jeffrey's. Everyone should be getting a caddy. I want a caddy. Jeffrey's, if you're watching, I need a caddy, sir. Please, just put it on my account.
But that's pretty much what I'm.
Put it on my card. 555-5555. All right, guys. So we're getting to that point where we're almost done with the top itself.
What I like the Redcat bodies is how easy the bodies tear after scribing the area to be removed.
Heck yeah. But you know, and I will say this, it's not like cheap Lexan either. It's
pretty thick.
It's pretty thick. It's good quality stuff, I found.
Which I think kind of helps in when you have that rigid score line, it's a lot easier to break a clean line off too.
Oh, heck yeah.
So that way, if it's too thin and you hit it with the blade, it's just going to score and it's just going to keep tearing. Which, a good remedy to that too. So you make your score lines, and then at the end of the score line, you can actually take a small drill bit and drill a hole right at the corners, and that'll help give you a nice rounded corner. And then on top of that, it'll stop the score from spreading if it cracks, if it's too much stress. I don't know if a whole lot of people knew about that, but that's a trick to do with aluminum. So if you're working with sheet metal, and it works really well with Lexan too.
You know, I heard aluminum is making a really big comeback in RC.
It's getting there, yeah. But Lexan has the same characteristic. So it's, you know, if you're gonna compare it.
Is that like comparing apples to oranges?
Maybe apples to pear.
Right.
Kind of the same thing.
Similar.
Similar,
but not.
It's the same but different.
All right, I'm gonna follow this.
Oscar Scissorhands from Tony Gutierrez.
Sí, Senor. So, a lot of guys, when cutting these bodies in general, like I said, there's a lot of different tricks and trade. I'm trying to do a lot. I'm trying to do about an hour's worth of work inside of a 30-minute
40,
show.
yeah, 40
So that's why I'm staying quiet and I'm actually resorting to things that I don't normally do. I don't like using Lexan scissors for a lot of things. When I buy a new body, I always score it, snap, score, snap, score, snap.
Hi, Yoshi. This is my face.
And then I use rounded Lexan scissors to get the wheel wells done or the corners. So for me to have Lexan scissors in my hand, you guys should be so lucky.
Let me just put my face over where there's sharp objects real quick. We need more episodes, at least 3 a week. That's a lot of work.
For who?
He must be good with the knife. He's not bleeding yet.
Nope, not bleeding at all.
One of the reasons why I'm here on this episode is because this involves cutting, and Oscar passes out at the sight of blood.
Well, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but Joe is actually a trained specialist when it comes to blood pathogens.
Yeah, I know there's blood that has cells in it. So, like blood cells. I don't know if you.
All right. This is why I hate Lexan scissors, dude.
It's because it's tight.
Yeah, it's very tight.
It's tight and it's forcing the blade that direction. And if you just score up that line, you should be fine. Let me tell you how to do your job.
I mean, everyone else does. I'm not worried about it. See, that's the thing. It's like most people can get irritated or butthurt when somebody has a suggestion for them, because what is that saying? So opinions are like
a butthole. Everyone has one.
No. Everyone has opinions, just like everyone has eyes, Joe.
Everyone has eyes. Yes, eyes. Everyone has eyes, but they're all different.
So
no, I guarantee you, no man cooks the steak the same as another man does.
Everyone finishes mine. I said it.
Mike Lacey, we are doing a Hollywood.
Is that related to you, Joe?
No, I do not. I do not.
Not related to you?
Nope.
That's kind of disappointing.
Yes, I did, Tony. I did go there.
All right, here we go.
Oscar doesn't get butthurt because he uses WD-40 in his grooves.
Joe Marley told me to, so I'm good. All right.
This is a fun episode today.
No, it's not. Don't lie to yourself. We're going to get the worst views ever.
There's at least 6 people watching.
Well, I mean, technically that's 4 more than usual. Hi, Mom.
Hi, Mom. We made it. So fun.
Okay, here we go. There it is, guys. So we finally got the top itself at a point where we can start manipulating a little bit more. What's our time looking like? Yeah, see, we're already 40 minutes in.
Derek LeBoy says the only thing that sucks when I cut the top off is the interior starts to want to sag. I put electrical tape to give it more stability. You could do that.
So, Tenny, what I like to use is double sticky tape. I double sticky the interior to the actual body itself, and that will give it a little bit more strength and rigidity. You can also use straws. Go down to McDonald's or Starbucks if you're not in California and get yourself some straws. And you can hot glue the straws in the seam of the body itself of the 64, and that'll strengthen it up as well.
Mm-hmm. Which body was that, Gio, that widened up on you? Was it the 64 or the Monte Carlo?
All right, guys. So really quickly, so now that I got the top separated, again, scoring it helped out. I got the openings of the window started, and now I have the score lines. You see, I just have the top that's still attached. This is where that snap procedure goes a long way with getting a nice clean line.
This is my favorite part.
I grab and I put pressure right here with my fingers. I then start to bend the Lexan itself. And there it is.
Ta-da!
So now, in essence, what you should do is go back, clean up all your lines on the top, on the sides, the windows. You can see I made it look like a rat chewed it up. So I wanted to show you guys what not to do. See, don't do that, right? If you take your time and score a body and all the lines that you want to do, you should have nice clean lines like the ones you see right here. Let me see if I can get a little better angle there. So you should have nice straight edge lines, no real cleanup needed. But sometimes with Lexan scissors, if you don't use them that often and you don't have the right tool for the job, you start ending up having things that look like this because you're trying to get into tight corners. Now, when it comes to cutting a real Lexan body that you haven't painted yet, it's going to be a lot easier to do, right? The body's disassembled and you have a little more access. And like we mentioned, if you were to get a round drill bit, if I were to punch a hole right here in this corner, I can probably then take my Lexan scissors and get as straight as a line as I can. And at that point, come back and do minimal cleanup with my knife, shaving the pieces that, are problematic or sticking up. And then you can then go back over it. Again, 200 grit on a piece of wood, something that gives a nice straight edge. You can then get in there and straighten up those corners, making sure everything is nice and flush. And this way your edges don't look all hacked up, Let me see. What did we miss? Did we miss anything here?
They're asking RC15 guys painting schedule. And then Gio, the 64 body probably started to widen up on you because it is that 5-piece. So that's kind of like a structurally, the roof on that was kind of helps with the structure rigidity.
Yes. Guys, and yeah, just so you know, Tony nailed it. Any cutting of the modificating of the body itself will void your body's warranty. So make sure
at
that
your own risk.
Yes. Make sure that everything that you're doing to your cars, that you're doing it at your own risk and not because Oscar said do it.
And Danny, I do not think that the body will fit on the land side. The land side's pretty good size.
So, having rounded, edged Lexan scissors, I could probably get in a little bit closer in there. But honestly, the right way for me is just sitting there scoring it. And a lot of times when I do bodies like this and I do these kinds of mods, I'll just sit in front of the TV watching a TV show, scoring it as much as possible, and then making my cuts. So that is in essence how to do a Hollywood top. I did not expect that we're going to spend 45 minutes on this show. And I think what we're going to do is we're probably going to revert to next week and doing the part 2 of how to do the the convertible top on this as well, just because of the length of the show and how it's going. So, for the most part, you guys can see it. Oops, let me turn off this camera here really quick. There's Joe! So there's the Hollywood top, right? Windows cut out. At this point, you can take your interior panel itself, and obviously nothing was removed, so your Velcro on the Monte Carlo, all the access points are still accessible. So putting everything back in should be as easy as just laying it back on top of the Velcro, and then there's your interior. So obviously, as mentioned, I need rounded Lexan scissors. Yeah, and I have some on my desk, but
have you seen like the short ones that you can get?
I've seen those, yeah. So, guys, like anything else that, when you're doing anything in RC is, and even in real life, I mean, you're only as good as the tools you have to work with, right? So you can't expect, to get great results but with subpar tools or not having the right tool for the job. So having the right tool for the job always goes a long way. So for instance, um, buying a set of Lexan scissors, that's great. Lexan scissors are awesome. You can get them straight, you can get them curved. I have both. Both are awesome to have, and they come in very clutch, especially for those bodies that might be a little more intricate, a little tighter nooks and crevices to cut. The other option that you guys also have to do is, again, you can always use a blade. I love the blade. I live and I die by the blade. But in reality, it gives you, you guys can see the cleanest cuts, right? Let me see if I can get a little closer and show you guys a little more of what I mean. See the cuts on the roof line? They're crispy. They're not jagged. They're not crooked. That's crooked on the window, of course, because I still got to clean that up.
Yeah.
But that gives you an idea of if you take your time, and cut it right, scoring it with the blade.
Measure 16 times before cutting once.
It'll work great. It really will, guys. So you don't have to take my word for it. Take Joe's word.
It looks great.
Right. So, guys.
Especially right here. Not so much, but here.
Yeah. And again, guys, I mean, for a lot of folks, there's a lot of different ways you can do it. I literally, in front of you guys, aside from the talking, probably spent, maybe 15 minutes cutting. If I would have had dedicated just 30 minutes of just taking my time, this would look super clean, and ready to play. The way it is right now, I probably have another 15 minutes of just, trimming and maybe a little tiny bit of sanding on the window section because I'm very meticulous and I want it to look good. I want it to look proper. So I'll make it into a convertible next week. Or I might do a different car a different Monte Carlo body that will make it to a convertible. And maybe this one, once I finish it up, if it's too ugly, it's scratched. So
this was a body that we dug out from our returns.
Yeah, it's. I was gonna say I'd give it away to one of you guys if you guys wanted it, but it's scratched up pretty good, and that's why I chose it to cut it up. So
you could cover this up with some nice graphics.
Yeah, I guess you could. But nonetheless, guys, so that is the tutorial on the Monte Carlo Hollywood top. If that's something that you guys want to do, you guys can come back, check out this video, and see how I did it. Find a way that fits you and your needs. If holding a blade and cutting the way I was doing it is uncomfortable to you, I totally understand. Find something that you feel comfortable with doing. My comfort zone is the blade. I'm more comfortable with the blade than I am with the scissors. And it's not so much that it's because I don't know how to use the scissors. It's just because the blade, I have more control of the blade than I do the scissors. The scissors kind of, and you'll attest to this, when you're trying to get in a corner and start to turn, it leaves like these jagged little teeth marks of where the blade was cutting. And you don't really get that when you snap,
When in doubt, score it out.
So now I'm looking at this and I'm like, you know what? This is bothering me. I'm going to.
Yeah. Marcus says he'll take it. It's only because we did half the work already, guy.
So there it is, guys. So that's a little better trimmed on the window right here. So taking your time, trimming it up. All this right here is just fuzz you can quickly clean up with a little bit of like emery cloth or the sandpaper we were talking about. But there's the Monte Carlo Hollywood top. Next week we'll go over the Monte Carlo full convertible. And I might even have some other things to share with you guys that are in the works thereof as well.
I actually like the Hollywood top.
I like it too. There's a lot of guys. I think a lot of the Block Boys. I think Chris Mack has a really dope one.
Yeah.
He actually has speakers, a box that he made,
nice.
And the speakers face out. So I like that look as well. That's always cool.
Brandon, do not use a cutting torch.
Yeah, right. Right. So, guys, that's about all we have time for today. We appreciate you guys stopping by. We appreciate you guys helping us out with the shenanigans. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing Joe Lacey and having him on the show. If you guys want more of Joe Lacey, you can definitely
hit that like button.
Yeah,
Because the more likes, they'll be like, okay, he can get out of his cave.
To be fair, the likes give me bonuses, so I'm
Yeah.
good with that. You just hit them the like.
Smash that like button.
Right. But on the real, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for following. If you like what you see and it's your first time on the channel, please click that follow, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Make sure that you don't miss any future episodes as well. We do go live every Wednesday, as long as I'm not sick or out of town, on Facebook, 3:30 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. And we then populate that video onto YouTube the next day. So whose beard game is stronger than mine? What? Hey, to be fair, mine looks good, though.
More Mr. Lacey. Yes, Jordan, I will come for you on the show.
Thank you so much, guys, for stopping by. We appreciate you guys. It's been a great show, and we'll bring you guys some more information next week. We'll probably have Joe back next week to help me with the rest of the convertible top. We'll come up with a couple other tips of the trade to share with you guys as well. If you have more questions, please make sure to drop them, and we'll try to answer them on next week's show. From all of us here at Redcat to all of you, we hope all of you guys had a blessed and enjoyable 4th of July weekend that just passed. I am headed to Universal Studios this weekend, taking my kids for the first time, so I'm super excited. And then I'm back to share some more fun and shenanigans with you guys. So for me to all you guys stay safe. We'll see you guys here very soon. A real American hero.
Real
American hero.
Mr. RC car seller guy.
Right. All right, guys.
Oh, we're still recording.
You can't